Hey guys, what's up and welcome back to my channel, or welcome back to my kitchen in particular. Today we're going to do a day of cooking African food and I'm really excited about it. I asked in my community tab if you guys have any recipes for me that I should follow and I got many recommendations. So we're going to do a full day of cooking today. I've already pre-made some things, I'll let you know which ones as we go along. But first of all, we're going to start off with a traditional North African as well as Middle Eastern breakfast, which is going to be flatbreads and shakshuka. Which is basically, I'm gonna actually make the flatbread and I'm gonna make the shakshuka. Shakshuka is basically a onion, pepper and tomato sort of sauce, if you like, with eggs cracked into it. And you cook them like that and then we're gonna eat them with the flatbreads that I'm gonna make. I should disclaim that I live in Bulgaria, guys, and in Bulgaria it's not exactly known for its multiculturalism. Is that a word? Multiculturalism? You know what I mean. So for me to find certain ingredients was very hard. I couldn't, in fact. So there's some things like fried plantains I can't do. I couldn't find plantains. I wanted to make fufu. I was actually really looking forward to make it. I couldn't find cassava flour or the whole cassavas. So we're gonna have to make some adaptations. For example, peanut oil doesn't exist, but apparently sesame oil is a good alternative. So I'm doing what I can with the ingredients that I have, but we have a very big day of eating ahead. I'm super excited for it. Some of the foods I've made already is honestly delicious. I'm not sure if my husband will like it as much because it's going to be quite spicy, some of it, but I know that I'm gonna love it. And I'm just really excited for doing a day of cooking rather than something else, you know? Experience different flavors in my mouth. But first we're going to start off by making the flatbread. Get that ready, then we're going to do the shakshuka, and whilst the shakshuka is getting ready we'll pan fry the flatbreads. It all looks really easy, to be honest. The key to African food that I've discovered is quality ingredients and taking your time. It's all about slow cooking, infusing flavors. You don't need tons and tons of spices. It's all about just letting the few spices really work their magic. So let's get to it. You guys, I had a taste of this flatbread and it's amazing. I cannot recommend you to follow this recipe. It's so easy and it's just foolproof. Apparently this is quite a traditional North African, Middle Eastern start to the day. I am gonna try and eat only with my right hand because again that is traditional in their cultures. Apparently the left hand is deemed unsanitary. I'm allowed to tear it apart with two hands, I would imagine. I don't know. But I think you just do the eating with one hand. Or is it all with one hand? I don't know. I do apologize. My intent here is absolutely not to offend anybody or any cultures. I'm doing this because I want to learn about cultures. All the recipes that I found have been from people that come from the relevant countries. I'm doing this as an homage to the different cultures of the world. It's hot. Needs a bit more salt. I'm gonna get a spoon to break it up. All right, let's try a bit here with an egg. Slightly overcook the eggs, but that's fine. Not sure if I would want too much of a runny yolk, but let's have a proper bite here with some egg, with some tomato. I'll say that. This is very delicious. However, it's an error on my part. I didn't season it enough. So for my taste, I would have put in there more cumin, more sweet paprika and smoked paprika. I could have done with just cooking the onions and the peppers a little bit longer so they went a little bit softer. They're quite crunchy still. It tastes really nice. It tastes really fresh. This guy is the winner though. These garlic flatbreads are absolutely phenomenal. I guess you could put on there whatever you want. It's very delicious, it's very fresh, it's quite light except for obviously this. But this in itself would be a pretty low calorie dish, very filling. You get some quality fat, some quality protein. Obviously the more fat you add, like the more olive oil you add, it'll be higher in fat. So you could make it pretty much as healthy or as calorie dense as you want. It has just a real nice freshness to it with all the herbs and the spices. So I would highly recommend making this. I just didn't season it heavy enough. It lacks that hint of like true Middle Eastern flavor for me. I feel like it needs quite a bit of saltiness as well, because obviously the peppers are sweet, soft cooked onion is quite sweet, the tomatoes are very sweet. So I do feel like it needs even it can handle more saltiness, more savory. The flavor on this build is one of those flavors where, actually I think it's actually because I added the salt to it, but it kind of balances the flavor a bit more. But it's one of those dishes where initially you think it's quite bland, but the more and more you eat it, the flavor does intensify and it does leave a very nice aftertaste. But it could definitely do with more seasoning in terms of herbs and spices, for sure. Three flatbreads later, and it looks like about half of this, maybe a bit more. It was very enjoyable. Now I need to do some work, clean that kitchen because it's a mess. I would highly recommend this. This is truly delicious. Take some time to prepare, about an hour in terms of everything. An hour of preparation, 100% worth it. And whatever's left over, Ivo and his brother can have. So next up, we're gonna go to Senegal and Nigeria. We are gonna make some jollof rice. I hope I pronounced that correctly. And we're gonna make some yassa chicken. The yassa chicken, actually you have to marinate overnight. So I have done that here. And for the jollof rice, what you need to do is you kind of need to almost create a paste, which basically means we're gonna blend down some ingredients. We're gonna heat them up, dry them out. Then to that we're gonna add onion. And then we're gonna add other ingredients. We're gonna then kind of break that all down. Add in the rice, which is cooking already. And at the same time, while that rice is all getting ready, I'm gonna start pan frying. There's a lot of things I need to do, so I'm not too sure how I'm gonna go about it. But first of all, I do know what I'm gonna do. I'm gonna start making my paste. Get that going, and then I think I'm going to start with the chicken. I don't actually have peanut oil, but apparently sesame oil is a good enough alternative. Sorry guys, I did have a look. It's just not something they do in the shops here. So let's try and get going with this, and then hopefully in about an hour or so time I'll have some food. That's what I think how long it's going to take, probably about an hour. They also don't do Scotch bonnets here, so I just use these normal chilies. yassa chicken with the yolk of rice. I do apologize if it's not appropriate to perhaps mix cultures or countries, but I'm sure there is overlap. It is boiling hot. It smells delicious though. That yassa chicken is very nice. You can definitely taste the acidity coming through from the mustard. But it's got a lot of sweetness from the slow cooked onion, which is delicious. Not a lot of strong spice, to be honest. Well, there isn't really any spice in there. Very tender chicken. You can also taste the acidity. The lemon is coming through actually. That's the acidity that I mean, like you get that hint of like sourness after you've swallowed it, like that. It's just like you get a burst of like saliva coming through. Let me just taste the yassa, the yolk of rice. Now I didn't have tomato paste. Ivo went to a shop to get some and he couldn't see it. So I got an alternative, which is quite sweet, but it's not puree. It's a puree, but it's more like it was more like a passata. But the sweetness of it actually works quite well. It's quite nice. I do like the yolk of rice. It is very tasty. Just a bit of heat at the end. I did end up putting some dried chilies in there, just to give it a bit more heat. But I'm sure that with like habaneros and stuff like that, it would have been much nicer and much spicier. I think it could have handled more spice in terms of just general spices. The flavor is quite delicate. It's not super. It's not very heavily spiced, and I don't know if it's meant to be heavily spiced or not. The mixture of the paste that I had reduced down, that had a really strong flavor with those spices, but then obviously when you mix it through the rice, I guess the flavor does disappear a bit. But very nice though. You like it as well, do you? Oh, that's good.
It's very hot, but it's nice. It's actually this mantle I need.
That chicken, the yassa chicken, it's delicious. Now, time for me to clean the kitchen again. This yassa chicken is delicious. It is one of those flavors that just keeps getting better and better the more you eat it. So much depth. It's sweet, it's lemony, it's got a bit of kick from the mustard. Definitely will be making that again. The yolk of rice was delicious, but to be honest, it's quite a hassle to make it. So for that reason, I probably won't. And I'm not a big rice eater anyway. But it honestly was this was one of the nicest things I've actually eaten in a long time, I think. I do eat nice things all the time, but this was highly enjoyable. Alright, so next up we are gonna make some mafe, which will take some time to prepare. I do apologize for the loud Bulgarians outside. I don't know what it is, but they always talk at 11 as opposed to like a level 7. So what I'm gonna do is, just like with the yolk of rice, I am going to make, first of all, a paste. Then I'm gonna pan fry my beef that I actually do need to chop up into bits so it cooks, it stews faster, and then we'll go from there, guys. So far this mafe tastes delicious. Sweet, spicy, warming. Can get the heat of the ginger. This is really good. Really nice. I can't wait for this to stew for 2 to 3 hours, I think is maybe what it needs for the meat to fall apart. And then I'll come back in a bit with other recipes. I've got one more yeah, one more thing to cook. I've got 2 dishes that are already pre-made. I was supposed to have another dish with this called shakalaka, but I'm not making it for the simple reason that we've got a lot of food left over, and basically I don't want to eat this amount of carbohydrates on a regular, and Ivo's brother, he has a lot of food already. So what I am serving this with is I am actually serving this with mujadra, I think I want to call it, which I actually made the other day. This is really nice. I'm having some fresh. It's very sweet. Sweeter than I thought it would be. But I wasn't sure about the amount of onion. I think it would have been better with more onion, but I didn't know the ratios of the chickpeas, lentils. But let's try out one of these pieces of beef. I think I could have cooked it longer, to be honest. It's not quite falling apart, but I don't want to eat it like 10 o'clock tonight, so let's try some. Very, very delicious. So it has obviously got a strong taste of peanut, normal. There's an element of sweetness to it. Then you do get some heat from the chili as well as from the ginger, followed by just beef flavor. So all in all, very delicious dish. Let me try some together with the mujadra, I want to say. That lentil dish is amazing. Really, really tasty. It actually goes very well with the peanut dish. Quite happy about this. This is very much up my street. I love this sort of food. Such a balance of spices. Spicy but not too hot. The key is definitely to slow cook everything. Just really, really let all of the flavors infuse. Very good. I'm gonna enjoy this. I'm really full up. And that was delicious, but we have one more dessert. One more dessert? We have a dessert. So the last meal of the day is a piece of milk tart. I actually made this yesterday, and the rest of the cake has already been eaten by Ivo and his brother, so that's a good sign. So this is the day before the actual filming, but I've decided to give my husband and his brother some cake because they have been working very hard. So try out the milk tart and give your first impression. Refreshing. Is it nice after a day of hard labor?
Very good.
Yeah? What's it like?
Very refreshing.
What's it like?
Just like sweet, nice. It's like, I think I would love it more if it was warm, because this the cream over here is going to be literally like I don't know.
Oh, so it's a cold cake. It's like a sort of.
I know, but like I would like sometimes to be warm, like just to have the option to try it warm as well.
Yeah, it doesn't work because it doesn't set if it's warm.
True, true.
It's a runny cake then.
Yeah, you're right. Yeah, but it's very good, very good.
But let me try some so I can give you guys the experience. So you can see it's a bit. So you can see it's like a cheesecake, but it's not actually made of cream or cheese. It does have milk in it though. Very, very easy to make, incredibly easy to make. But I messed the biscuits up. I was going to go for like a cheesecake bottom, but I think the biscuits I used were not good for that. Doesn't matter. Let's try out. Very sweet, very nice. It tastes a bit like a creme patisserie. The consistency reminds me of something. There's no baking in this, it's just cooling. But it's almost a bit like it's silkier than jelly, but it has the same sturdiness, not the same chew, and it's definitely much silkier. But it's very delicious. My next video for this channel was going to be eating and training like Big Ramy. However, I think what I might do is I might film a day in the life tomorrow with what I eat, just so you can see what I eat when I'm not doing videos like this. This was an incredibly high carb day tomorrow. Hopefully that will mean that I can do some heavy deadlifts. I hope it's going to feel my workout. I am doing a lot of. I'll talk about my training tomorrow. Stay tuned for that video that will be up next week. I'm going to end the video here. I'm going to finish eating that, watch some TV. It's quite a late day, it's late to eat for me at this time anyway. I normally eat, my last meal was normally 2 hours ago. I really enjoyed this. I definitely want to do something like this again. Cooking like a country, cooking like an area. I hope I did the countries justice. I did my best, guys, with what I had available. I'll be sure to link all the links in the description for the recipe videos that I used, should you want to try them at home. On my main channel, if you're a member, there will be some videos coming out this weekend with a breakdown of the recipes and how to do them for some of the recipes that I've made that I really enjoy doing. So I'm going to definitely do the bulgur and I'll do the wrap as well. But yeah, insert a palm tree emoji. I assume they do them in Africa. Give me a recommendation on countries, areas you would like me to do next. This was so much fun experiencing all of these different flavors. These are some of my favorite videos to make. Honestly, there's no chore, it's just pleasure, just pleasure. The pleasure of cooking, the pleasure of eating. The only bad thing is I get a bit of a stiff neck, but that's a problem for another day. Thanks a lot for watching, guys, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye.